It's hard to understand the way that you went out. I bet you're living with a little hint of doubt. Maybe next time when you gotta show your hand, you won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you'd put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, Guy Next Door.
Me, DK.
And me, Than.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. DK, are you alright? Did I give you a fright?
I'm freaking out, man.
You look like you're freaking out. Has it been that long? You're like, well, whose voice is that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. You don't stream for 1 week and all of a sudden it all just goes to hell. Yeah, there were no tech issues, so it just threw me off.
Yeah.
Sean right.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, Shawnee. No tech issues yet.
Whoa!
Give it time.
Ducky. It's your 12-month subscription anniversary. Well done, sir. Thank you very much for your support. It means the world. We're on a hype train, thanks to you and these two guys below me, with their subscriptions. Bunch of suckers. I don't subscribe to this nonsense. Yeah. Laser Force Tournament ads. What the fuck? I don't think I have any control. I tried to turn those off, and it wouldn't let me. So
You can't turn them off for non-subscribers.
There you
can
go.
only turn them off for non-subs, and it's off for non-sub, or it's off for subs by default. So if you don't want ads, subscribe to the fucking channel, Beans.
yeah, I'll
Give some money to the leg breakers at Twitch.
put this content behind a semi paywall. You're welcome.
Who would want to pay money for this content? Crazy people. That's who.
Crazy people who we love. Thank you very much.
apparently ones of people at least want to pay money for this content.
So you have the next 3 minutes to make up your mind if you want to hit that hype train. Anywho, hello guys, how are you? What's going on?
You know,
It's hot, but less hot than last week.
and it's hot here, and it's about the same amount of hot as last week. Oh, look at that with Hoodie.
Thank you so much, dude. Hype train.
Are you actually allowed to use your AC this week, though?
I never stopped, so.
In the third world country that is Texas.
Wait, were you guys on power restrictions or something?
Yes, again, because Texas is fucking.
Don't you guys make
dumb.
all the power? Isn't that what comes out of Texas?
Oh shit.
They like to keep it for themselves and not give it to the plebs.
Fair.
And by plebs, I mean people who live there.
Oh, Daz with 5 gift subs. Holy shit! Thank you so much, dude. You guys are fucking awesome. That's I think that's like a level 3 hype train. I don't know. Get on board. Whoop whoop.
It's a high P according to the screen.
White power doesn't generate electricity.
Okay, we're gonna move on past that one.
I like how Twitch was like, no, and Sam was like, I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. Great. If we see a big jump in a certain kind of subscriber base, I'm blaming you for this, Than.
That's entirely fair.
Des, you're a bloody legend. Thank you so much for those 5 gift subs, dude. We're on a level 3 hype train. A choo choo. We hit a wee speed bump, almost derailed. Thank you, Ducky. But we're powering through. A couple of little quick pieces of housekeeping before we get to our guest, because we have a guest. It's in the title. It's always in the title. And we don't want to keep him waiting too long, but
don't we though?
Well,
nah, we're gonna be nice.
Like, I got way better things to do than listen to you people.
Accurate.
But so, a couple of quick things. The channel is almost at 300 followers. Thanks so much to everyone for hyping the shit out of what we do. I think we're 2 off.
It's unfucking real that there's almost 300 people following this channel. I mean, I know it's not because of this show. I know that this show is very niche, and it's due to a lot.
This is like the 4th most popular show now.
That's all right. It's what we named the channel.
Yeah. So fuck it. But still, the fact that, you know, via everything that's been done with this channel, that like almost 300 people have decided, hey, you guys' content is interesting enough that I at least want to know when you guys go live.
Shit, son. Hoodie with the gift subs. Another 5.
Gets it a tier 1 to BC guy next door. That fucking guy.
That fucking guy.
Yeah, he's an asshole. What
Thank
a
you.
jerk.
Oh, thank you, Melbourne, coming in strong. It's like you guys aren't able to get out and spend your money elsewhere. So
It's like they have nothing better to do.
No, thank you very much. Level 3 hype train complete. We're on the way to level 4. Wait, we're at level 4. We're on the way to level 5. That's
Sweet, we
crazy.
have missiles now.
Relevant. BC guy next door.
Well
just stopped
played.
at double. That guy's.
That was a laser tag joke.
I loved it. I understood that reference. What the
I mean,
fuck was I
I almost didn't, because, you know, I haven't played for so long, but, you know, it's fine.
Yeah, so we're very close. We're like 2 off. We're 2. What the hell is going on? What does that mean?
Flash
You
of
didn't disable
inspiration.
your
Oh,
D&D buttons yet.
There we go. That's all right. We'll keep that one on because I like how it confuses me.
Yeah.
I turned almost.
Plus, I
everything
mean, you
off.
never know.
Hoodie, how do I get a refund on that one to BC? You don't. Suck it. Yeah, but we're almost at 300, and then we're gonna roll right through that, and you know, fucking. I think surely that's bigger than our Laser Force community. What's up, Bing Pot? Yeah, they'd be stronger than the tournament community at least, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if we added up all the unique people who have been in a tournament in the last 10 years, I don't think that we get close to that number.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. Very, very cool. I don't know why that sound clip didn't go. That's okay. So yeah, well, that makes me very proud. We're on the way out. Oh, Super Video Brothers, what's going on? That's timely that you come in there, sir. I wanted to quickly do a shout out. Obviously, we didn't get to do the show last week, which always makes me sad when we can't do the podcast. But for very good reason. I went away to Christchurch on a whim. To go see friends of the show, a great Christchurch band called Empire. If you haven't given them a listen, exclamation Empire in chat. I think I have that set up. If I don't, I should. There we go. Go check them out. If you like metal, holy shit, pretty freaking sweet band. But as a added bonus, I got to meet a bunch of the streaming community that's outside of the Laser Force community, including one Mr. Super Video Brothers, which was a real pleasant surprise. So it was very nice to meet you, my friend. No doubt we will catch up next time I'm back down. But yeah, it was a really, really cool weekend. Met some really awesome people who are part of this kind of wider Twitch community that we're part of, with Killer Hannah, Blue Sin, Truly Awful Gaming, Frosthammer NZ, among many other streamers that I can't sort of name here, but those are kind of the bigger channels in the community. But yeah, appreciate it. It was cool. It was cool meeting you guys. Than, do we want to talk about some stuff? Talk about your week, and then we'll bring in our guest.
Do bits count towards hype
yes,
train?
Hoodie, bits do
Let's
count
find
towards
out.
hype train.
Find
Basically anything that spends money counts towards hype train.
That's so awesome.
Literally how that goes. One of those dopamine feedback things.
Oh, I love it.
Which is amusing.
You feel it trickle down your spine. It's great. Thank you for those bits.
Yeah, no, we
Like
can.
the rats will just keep shocking themselves in
Oh,
exchange
yeah.
for heroin.
Yeah, no, we can quickly cover my life for the last 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness, Hoodie with another gift sub just to bring us to that level 5 hype train, bro. You're a pretty fucking stellar human being. I love you, bro. I love you. Not just because you shower me with money, but also because
He showered you with something.
shower me with something with praise and admiration.
Sure. Is that what we're calling it these days?
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah. You gotta wash it off real quick though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Warm, moist towel.
Yeah.
So I mean, as far as the last couple of weeks, it's been kind of up and down. I mean, getting fully settled into the house, and actually the last me thing I had to do to it got done today. The back door has a window in it because it's a back door. You be able to see in the backyard. All the other windows in the house came with blinds, except that one. That one you had to contact the company that had done the blinds for the builder and say, "Hey, come out and do this, and let me give you $50 for it." And I'm like, why the fuck didn't they just do this at the same time? But whatever, it's $50. It's done now.
So you just sitting there with an exposed back door is what you're telling us.
I always knew
Correct.
Than's back door was easy access.
Hey, whatever.
We could do this all day.
I know. Well, I mean, as long as you've had your pills, you can, sure.
Magic blue pill.
Exactly. So that's done. Got the gutters put on the house. All the ceiling fans are installed. So everything that is things that I can't do to the house has been done now. So now it's just in the stage of, okay, now I got all my artwork. Then I need to figure out where all that's going, and there's a whole bunch of stuff I still need to frame so I can put it in different places. And last Friday, while you were at a show, I went to a show also. 'Cause it was like, hey, we're just gonna yeah, we just may as well make it a day, make it a night for music. So, drove basically 80 plus kilometers for those of you that don't use
So down the road.
Hey, use freedom
freedom
units.
units, about 50 miles one way to get to the venue. And let me tell you, 50 miles in DFW, you're still very firmly in DFW because DFW is fucking massive. It's a great show. Went to see my friend Sunny Disposition. Obviously hadn't seen them for over a year. Funnily enough, there was this weird thing that kept us from seeing shows for a year plus.
Weird thing. Never heard of it.
I know, it's shocking.
We don't have that here, so.
So that was cool, but at the same time, like the last couple of weeks have definitely been up and down mentally. I've hit that quiet part where all the chaos has gone away, and when all the chaos goes away, the quiet parts get really loud.
Oh yeah.
And so there's definitely been some excessive sleeping the last couple weeks. There's definitely been some
Sleeping is never excessive, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
well in the quantities that I'm doing it in at times, like, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of additional kind of like depression sleep happening here.
There's a fine line between asleep and coma. Yeah.
So I mean, that was part of the reason for forcing myself out of the house last Friday to go to that show. And there's another show tomorrow that I'm planning on going to. It's like, try to do that. It's like, okay, no, as much as you don't like being out around people, you kind of need to do it for your own mental health. So yeah, that's been kind of the challenge.
Yeah.
These couple weeks. Those quiet parts, man. Fuck, they get loud when the chaos goes away.
Yep, sure do.
And all of my chaos is done at this point. So
well, yeah, it'll dull. It'll get a little quiet. A little less intense. But yeah, like it'll come right. It'll come right. But then it'll go bad again. So what do you do?
Yeah. on the bright side, like, my band is actually like, we've actually got shows on the books now that are all Facebook official, and there's still a couple more that aren't quite Facebook official yet because they've just been booked and we're finalizing things. So that's kind of that's kind of cool that's that is starting to kind of coalesce. It's not just going to be a one show and done thing. It's like, okay, yep, people still actually want to see us.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the kind of compressed version of the last 2 weeks. Ups and downs, so many of them.
So look, we won't dive too much deep because I'm loath to keep our guest waiting in the wings for too much longer. But
He can wait.
He can wait. He's like, fuck it, I'm out.
Oh shit, where'd he go?
Yeah. But so you've obviously been playing a lot of Diablo 3 on your own channel.
Yep.
And you had a I don't really know what's going on most of the time because I don't play, which is, I'm in the minority, I think, amongst our communities. But you had a traumatic experience this week, and
yep.
And yeah, it's the first time in a long time that I've seen you outwardly truly heartbroken. That's not true, but still, like, oh, what a roller coaster of emotion that was.
Oh yeah, so
Everybody drop a nuke to pay respects.
Yeah. So for those of you that
I say we
don't
take
know,
off and nuke the entire
on my
site
own
from
channel,
orbit.
I've been playing Diablo 3 with a hardcore
I
character.
say we
And
take
for those
off
of
and
you that
nuke
don't
the
know,
entire site from
hardcore
orbit.
characters like one death, you're done. Like death has actual
I say we take off and nuke the entire
as
site
far
from
as
orbit.
that goes. And so
I
this
say we
character was
take off and
cruising
nuke the
along,
entire
he was
site from
doing
orbit.
doing very, very well. And like 10 minutes into the stream on Saturday, I think it was, and I was like, and had a fucking spam
I say we
bot
take off and nuke the entire
into
site
chat,
from orbit.
and I was like, okay, fine, I'll
spam
deal
bot.
with the spam bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. You
And
want to be famous?
yeah,
Yeah.
one of those. And for a multitude of reasons, I didn't need to do this. Like there were multiple reasons that I did not need to touch this bot. We don't need to get into them, but it was not my concern. But I did it anyway. And when I alt tabbed out to deal with it, I cleared what was on screen and then didn't town portal. Didn't put myself back into town to make myself safe.
Sneaky monsters.
And when I alt tabbed out, the game actually minimized instead of staying up on my second monitor, because sometimes it minimizes, sometimes it stays out. And as I'm mocking this bot and getting ready to report it, I actually looked at it, was like, why is my keyboard flashing? You have to understand, I have a Razer Black Widow with LED keys, and it reacts to shit that's happening in game. I didn't think anything of it because I'm stupid. And I go back into the game, and I'm dead. Like 3 enemies had come from off screen and smacked the shit out of me. And
I say we take off and
needless
nuke
to
the
say,
entire site from orbit.
The next, like, I want to say 10 to 20 minutes of this stream are just me sitting basically berating myself.
It's
like,
so good.
I say we take off and nuke the
um,
entire site from orbit.
And Ducky in Tech says, I've never said it before. Yeah, I didn't mention that my keyboard had actually flashed red at me.
That's so funny.
But I think it did that, like, basically when I took the fatal damage, like the actual fatal damage that killed me. So it may have been a little too late by that point. Either way, it
P.S. You're dead.
Yeah, P.S. You're dead. So if if you really, really, really want to see me just absolutely, like, broken, like, totally just like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, you would want to
check out the
look
VOD.
for the.
There is a clip of it.
There's a clip. Yeah.
So if you go to watch the clip, then it'll give you the opportunity to continue watching the video, and I highly recommend watching the full, like, 30 minutes of the stream. If you're not going to watch the whole thing, at least watch, like, 20 to 30 minutes of that. Oh, it's so painfully amazing. And and like,
thanks, but I don't watch snuff films.
it's so funny too, because you go through, like, a full, like, you start with confusion, like,
Oh, it's the 5 stages.
Oh, yeah.
It was the 5 stages for sure.
yeah, like, he was confused about what happened, and it was like denial, and then he was looking to shift blame, and then he was like
Fucking spam bot.
yeah. And then he got angry with, like, the viewers. He was like, well, like, of all of you who wanted to see me dead, here you go. This is what you wanted. He's so mad about it.
and then we re-rolled a new character and started on. Now here's the thing, like, so it turned into a 5.5 hour stream, and it turned into actually, like, one of the best streams I've had in quite some time.
Yeah.
Because it ended up like some brand new Diablo 3 player, like, actually came in, like, as I was trying to level the new character, And so like the this person was just asking questions and like literally was brand new to Diablo 3 like within like the previous like couple of days.
It was actually
so had
me
like
in
no
disguise.
okay, cool. So had like no grounding in anything.
Yeah.
And so it basically turned into a teaching stream where I was like trying to like explain like very basic concepts while leveling my character. So I'm sure that helped because it kind of took me out of the headspace of being really fucking pissed at myself and actually going into, hey, we're gonna teach and we're gonna, you know, do a thing. So yeah,
Well,
so it long term it ended up being a really good stream. But in that moment, yeah, if you enjoy seeing me really
You basically cried
in a bad place, it's a great thing to watch.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
One last comment on it, and then we'll move on. It's funny because as I was watching it, and you were like, "Oh, like because of a bot, really? Because of a bot?" And I was like, "Why hasn't he made Auntie 2 a mod yet? She probably because she was watching, she probably could have dealt with it." And then he was like, "I didn't even. There's Auntie 2's in chat. I didn't even need to."
That was the
So
the reason I did not need to do anything.
Amazing.
Like, she already had it covered.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking stupid.
Trust your mods, mate.
Basically.
Trust your mods.
And
Well,
basically
we won't make you relive that further. Let's
well,
let's bring in our special guest for the day.
Let's do these.
Yes.
Like,
Who's been waiting patiently for us.
Half an hour in. I got
Poor
better
guy.
places to be. Just quickly, Heathen, we'll probably save the ice tag video. I think we'll play that either next week or eventually when we get Lucy on the pod, which will be in the next, I think, 3 weeks. I'll double check my dates, but we'll figure that out. DK, should we switch across? Let me just change
Switch
the
it.
scene. Boom. What up, dog?
Am I in?
You are.
You're
you are
in.
You're on the
Never-
TV.
That's something you never want to hear her say ever.
Hey, first of all, sorry, you got my logo wrong. I'm the dark blue kid with the headphones.
Oh, really?
But I like the skull.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
Shit. I gotta hit up Marco and see if he'll give us access to any of the avatars.
Oh, I thought you had the whole thing.
Nah, not at all. Although I did specifically ask for the toast because I'm a big fan of the toast. But we'd like to welcome in, for anyone that doesn't know, welcome in to the pod this week, Mischief, aka Luke, out of Loveland Laser Tag. What up, my dude? What's been going on? How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to be here representing Loveland. You know, the scene's been just kind of, since COVID hit, I feel like everything, like we lost a lot of momentum as a tournament scene. So I'm really excited to come up with fake nats. We got our team ready. I've just been out here in Arizona.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Just so
I work with,
Arizona.
yeah.
Are you living out there or?
Yeah, I'm working with aged out foster kids now, and this whole new life direction I'm taking. But I don't want to delve too deep into that.
Fair. It sounds pretty damn positive though.
Yeah, totally.
But does it mean that like currently you are homeless from a laser tag perspective?
Yeah, dude. There's not a single laser force site in Arizona, like the whole state. I looked.
Like famously, Arizona has heaps to do though. It's not like it's full of desert.
Yeah, no, you can go hike. If you go about 2 hours north, it's not 115 degrees. There's a lot of places to go.
Ew, yuck.
But yeah,
That's like what 39,
It's like 45.
degrees? Really?
It's like 45.
Holy
Yeah.
Jesus. Yuck.
Yeah, bro, it's fucked.
Just
Arizona is not a temperature-friendly place during the summer,
that's
like at all.
mad Cedar Point flashbacks.
Yeah, but at least
worse.
it's a dry heat. It's not like the swampy miasma that was Cedar Point.
it's not a roller coaster heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're heading across to the east for the tournament.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Who else is coming on ye old Loveland team?
All right, ye old Loveland team. We got the Fear Turkey, who you all know. The others,
Cool.
let's see, Dr. Feelgood, who attended Nats in 2019 on our team.
Yep.
Slade?
The return, yes, Slade.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have the return of Simply Okay, who is formerly Memosaurus, and I think the last time he played was West Coast when we hosted, or West Coast in Detroit. We have a new player coming named Brahmatized. He's only played on our beat West Coast when we hosted, but he is the absolute A tier as far as our site goes. So we're really excited to showcase him.
Awesome.
And last, Phantom lives out in New York, New York, so she'll be coming up to join us.
That's dope.
Sweet.
Now
It's a good group.
there's a couple of names that I am familiar with or associate with Loveland that aren't on that list. And probably the most glaring one is one Slaughtermelon.
Yeah.
The turncoat? The turncoat, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'll speak on that. Like, we are a worse team without him, straight up. But we're happy for him because the reason he's going to St. George, like, he's going through a lot of life changes, and who wouldn't want to play with the St. George players?
Dude.
I totally would if I could.
Yeah. Great bunch of people. Those people. It's treason then. But still, we're gonna fire him a bunch of shade for jumping ship because it's funny.
Let's call him the ringer.
I'll just say that we hope he takes second place.
Suck it,
Fair.
With us first.
So, in terms of practice, I would assume that it's kind of non-existent for you guys. Like, how's your prep and how's your team prep?
Oh, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm playing some basketball and getting all sweaty, and that's how I'm practicing.
Perfect.
Just like being in shape.
Yeah.
It's up
helpful.
to everyone individually here.
I think going outdoors in Arizona for like 5 minutes just counts as exercise.
You're right.
It's like, congratulations, you lost 5 pounds.
Yeah, but from your lungs.
Yeah.
Mean. But so because obviously Sergeant Tucker and also G'day Tucker in chat has been posting a few links, and they've been streaming tag, but I don't think they've been playing a lot of Space Marines, right?
Well, we just got started back up, and I think Sergeant Tucker could speak more about that himself if he wanted, maybe in the chat. But I've been seeing him posting, trying to get basically our group back. I think we're up to maybe teams of 5 right now.
Perfect.
But
Getting there.
mean, many of our main players just don't even live there anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we're going through a bit of a rebuild.
Which is a shame because
as most sites are.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
That's the biggest thing that plagues, I think, the competitive Space Marines scene is aside from Brisbane, who are the anomaly, everyone goes through this constant, struggle for consistent members. Because, people get older and grow out of it. Or they get like boo indeed, boo indeed.
Boo these people.
Seriously.
But they do get, they have families or they, move away like yourself. Like, and when you move away, it's just, and there's no either there's no site available or, not a solid foundation to build off of. It's so damn hard to actually grow a site. Where is your closest site then?
Is it actually
St.
St. George
George
at this point?
It would have to be if he's in Arizona, yeah.
Bro, time to jump ship. It counts.
Oh man.
Because I assume with you
picking
talking about how
Loveland.
hot it was, you're in like the Phoenix area then?
Yeah, I'm like North Phoenix.
Okay. So St. George is still a good 3 hours away?
7 hours. Those are 7
Seven.
hours. You got to go through Las Vegas to get there.
Oh
damn.
yeah, because there's that whole giant ditch that's in the way that Arizona's famous for. Yeah.
You can't
Should build
you
a bridge
can't
across that thing, man.
you can't get there from there. From there, you have to go someplace else and start over.
Yeah, you got to do the whole.
Yeah,
Yep.
seriously.
That's right. Yeah, 7 hours. Oof.
That's like the drive from, like Syracuse, but the other way to Detroit, like around the bottom way.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
Like
like
going
that.
around Canada is similar.
Yeah, right. Past the lake and shit through Cleveland. Yeah.
Well,
I was kind of surprised though. When we did the what was it? Just the for fun thing in St. George the other month. I didn't feel like I lost a ton of my skill or my practice. I think I just maybe muscle memory was fading a bit.
Seemed pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopefully all the people who aren't really able to practice can come back and still be basically their former selves.
You do,
or at least a close imitation of it, since you know we all have the COVID-19 on, so to speak.
We've already got a imitation DK.
Well, and the muscle memory. I mean, a couple of days of playing, and the muscle memory comes back. Of course, if the muscle memory was set wrong to start with, then it's going to come back wrong, and then penalties ensue. But that's always a risk when you've been away for a while as well.
And sometimes the muscle memory is there, and the spirit is willing, but the flesh is old and a little bit not as not as responsive as it used to be.
Yeah, nope, not even a little bit.
I'm right in that boat too, except it's lopsided on my side. The weight distribution is out.
So other than just actually playing, what are you looking forward to most about this tournament?
Seriously, it's just like seeing everyone. I'll for the team that we're bringing out. Like, I'm really excited because I think we're all going to have good synergy. I think we're not going to have like personality conflicts. Everyone's really like, I'm going to say competitive on our team.
Always plus.
No, like I've seen them like in like our site tournaments or our seasons. What we would do. Everyone here, I think, when they'd rather like be angry but try harder than be angry and like throw. So I'm excited for that. But also like all the other people, like I said, how we've lost momentum. I want to see all these teams come out because they're all looking scary. I don't think any team's going to be a pushover here. And I think we'll get some momentum going again.
Except Syracuse. Those guys are fucking terrible. And
yeah, Syracuse is the worst.
Yeah,
no home team, no home side advantage. They're just pushovers. They're the worst.
Yeah, sure.
Trying to light a fire, hair beans.
Do that when you play them.
Beans can curse.
Yeah. Yeah, wicked. So, because I mean, out of that team, yeah, we've seen. I think we've seen almost all of those players play at previous tournaments, right? Except for
somewhere.
Yeah.
Except for the newish
Brahmatized
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like anyone's going to be lost as such. And have you played Syracuse? You guys have played Syracuse?
Yeah, it was like 2016 though.
Okay.
So it was a long time ago for me.
Some
of them went out to the random draw though.
The original fake Nats, yeah.
Yes, the original fake Nats.
Evil. So, but like,
see, we're just trying to draw you out of the lurk there, Evil. We know you're lurking.
I think. Oh my gosh, I think I know why. Like, I think we put Evil's team down into 5th place at that tournament. Sorry, Evil.
Sick burn.
But then their C team handed it to us pretty hard afterwards.
What can you do?
But with the players that you are taking, like how many have actually played Qs before?
I think just Phantom and the Fear Turkey.
Right on. Okay, so
that's right.
But if you have a half of your team that's already played a site, that does obviously put you in better shape than a team that's coming into a site fresh. Yeah. especially for that site. Although, I mean, I get the impression I've not played competitively there. We got to play, a few games there, 2019. Yeah. And there was like 4 of us in the arena, but I would imagine there's different corridors that you have to kind of be wary of.
Correct.
Yeah. And kind of get a feel of where those shots are coming from. So,
yeah,
I think it's one of the easier arenas to learn, at least for me, because it's a single floor arena, and I think me and you as well. You have a multi-floor arena. You're just used to looking 3-dimensionally. At least on here, you only had to look 2 dimensions.
Right.
That did help.
We're lucky in Auckland. We're more of a 2D. Like we do have an upstairs, but it's all like you can't shoot from up down for the most part. There's one ramp you can do it, but it's not massive.
Got it.
But like Sacramento's maze, was
glorious.
So
that
good.
Was
so good.
I'm gonna miss that Dragon Keep, man.
But yeah, and I suppose like that one, even though it was a 2-level site, really, you didn't have to play it that way. Most of the play happened upstairs, so it wasn't to the same.
That's true of most multi-floor arenas that I've been to.
Yeah, well, so I haven't played Loveland, but from my understanding, you guys had it is a multi-story.
Yeah, now that we're having this discussion, it might be. I mean, aside from arenas I haven't played, it's probably the most 3D out of all the ones I've played.
Right.
Because especially even when you're upstairs, we have a 3rd floor and a 2nd floor that pretty constantly interact. So you do need to be looking all around.
It's kind of 2.5 stories because of how how the 3rd floor is positioned to the 2nd story platform. So I don't know that I'd call it 3 floors, but definitely 2.5, 2 3/4.
We can call it 3. That's fine. Just the way that it plays is more like 2.5, but it's definitely a distinctly 3rd floor because you have to use that extra ramp.
PogChamp, has Luke announced who's on his team? Yes.
Yep.
But do you want to run through it quickly again?
Yep, you got it. We got Mischief, Bagel / Fear Turkey, Phantom, Dr. Feelgood, Simply Okay, formerly Memosaurus, and Traumatized.
It's a pretty solid team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right on.
You're not going to embarrass yourselves, is basically what it gets down to.
Y'all need to stop changing your
names.
Hope.
That's always been the hope.
Hello, Thunder. What up, dog? He made you wait till today. Who is PogChamp at your site? I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's
I don't know who PogChamp.
Bagel. I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I think it's somebody else.
Right.
Can't remember. It might be a Q's member. I'm not totally sure. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, I bet that's Dylan, because I told him it's a secret. I'll announce on the podcast.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right.
What's brewer cues? Why don't I understand?
that's Syracuse.
yeah, but what? Because you guys drink lots?
Probably the Syracuse plus Baden.
Oh, of course. Okay. Oh, that's why you're here. Smart.
So what's your favorite tournament memory so far? If we want to scroll back a little bit.
Man, I gotta say, on that note of not embarrassing myself, I probably I thought about it, and it was the time we took first at our own West Coast, and I know we had side advantage and teams. We didn't have a lot of teams come out with their full A rosters, but I had never fought so hard in my life. It was Scythe and Baden and Kodama were on a team. Terrence and Terrell and it was Snuffles from St. George, but he had just started. That was his first tournament. That was the team we were up against, and I remember going into that last game. They actually beat us the first game.
That's a murderer's row right there.
We took a lesson from when we played at Sacramento Internationals. We got all freaked out and changed up our roster during finals because we thought we were going to lose at that tournament. But we decided just to be cool and stick with it for that one, and we won anyway. So I came outside and just it was it was like just complete ecstasy, like that feeling of achievement.
Do you
So
get the
felt good to
tingles?
finally like not be the bad team, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna
Still
say
the
even with
newest
home
site,
side
you know?
advantage, that's a really hard team to beat. So
brutal.
that's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
You know, to quit freaking out. Dude, I 100% know that feeling that you're talking about. Like, you come out and, like, you know, the fresh air hits your skin and causes a sensation of tingles to roll down the back of your spine.
Literally, yeah.
It's
And
so good.
suddenly, colors are brighter,
Mhm.
smells are sharper.
Yeah.
It just
The
the
first
whole
win is
nine,
special.
Yeah.
The first one is
the whole
special.
9 yards.
That's right. But then you're forever chasing that feeling, and it never gets quite as good.
It's kind of like heroin.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh, okay, I should stop that.
Yeah.
Thanks here. Don't do heroin.
Don't do heroin.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Don't get on that hype train.
Stay off that hype train.
How long have you been playing for? It must be quite a while now, right?
Yeah, first tournament was 2015 when Loveland hosted internationals.
Wow. And prior to that,
Yeah.
like, had you played a couple years, or you guys?
I played all through high school, but about maybe a year before that, Nats St. George came over. They sent like 6 players, and at that time we had a site base worth like 30 members, but they beat all of us every single game.
Yeah.
So, like, we just didn't have any game knowledge, you know. So all the teams came over for internationals and just gave us a whooping. We knew nothing.
That
It was a learning experience, is what
Yeah.
you mean.
Exactly.
That's,
Exactly.
That's always the kind of the interesting thing. Like when when you haven't been exposed to players from outside your site, and you're just playing internally, and you get this kind of, like, yeah, no, we're pretty decent. We're doing okay. We got some good games going on, and then suddenly, you know, you get these outside influences coming in, and you realize, like, oh, we actually have so much further to go with our journey. I think pretty much everybody in this, you know, in this chat, and probably in the in chat on the stream as well, can relate to that on some level, because I know it happened to us in Sacramento. You know, I know it happened to Auckland. I know it happened to Oakley when they changed over to lasers, or to Laser Force from Zone. Like, you pick a site, it's happened. You know,
Yeah.
where
It was kind
where
of like more painful in SAC, I feel like, because we did have success in the first inner site comps when we like went to Sugarland, because they were also new, but then we got a rude awakening later when we had to play Australians in 2002. That was almost kind of worse, because it was like for a couple of years you really thought you were the shit, and then it was like, oh no.
Yeah, that might be worse.
Well,
no, it was terrible.
It builds character, you know. It's a building character. Yeah.
It does. I mean, either
Sure.
you get smashed and you're like, I'm not good at this, or you say, I still have things to learn. I want to get better. And
Yeah.
at least, like, for me, that was a huge fire under my ass to, all right, I really need to work on developing some things rather than taking a lot of these things for granted. Just because you're good in a random league or against Gen Pub doesn't mean that you're, you know, ready to take on the big leagues.
Oh, totally. So you all can understand then why that's my favorite memory. You know, you
100%.
start out
Yeah.
bad, and it's on the outside, it was just a game that I won, but on the inside, that was like the culmination of like 3 years of just getting of just not being the best team.
Yep.
It was nice
Yeah.
to go there,
The other
and
feeling.
now going out to internationals, you know, obviously it's got a lot harder, but I mean, I'm never gonna stop that attitude now. I've learned a lot from the game.
Yeah.
Just keep and learning.
Mm. And
Remember
if you
that,
can, and if you can drag like 6 people along that, well, 5 other people along that journey with you, then even better.
And are you guys all coming out for the full 5 days for the 3-day plus the random draw, or are you just coming out for part of it?
I think everybody except for Phantom.
Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to both events kind of like almost equally, because on the one hand, I'm really excited to play with this new sort of California team and to let you guys, test out your site again. But also to change things up and play with some people that I probably haven't played a tournament with before either. So I think it'll be really cool.
Yeah, I think so. Your team looks scary. Are you excited for that?
I'm
'Cause,
super
like,
excited.
yeah, you got a lot of new players coming together for the first time.
Yeah, it's just a question of how different styles will mesh, I think. But yeah, I'm super excited to try it out. I think it will go well.
Who's your team?
So
Yeah.
Yeah, same with you, Dylan.
who all is coming from Cali at this point?
So it's me, Aiden, and Disco from Sacramento, and then from SoCal we have Dylan, Kodama, Applesauce, and Zev, aka Soy Boy.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid 7 roster.
Yeah.
That
So trying
no
to figure out
matter-
which 6 to play is like the hardest part, because it's like, well, somebody's got to sit out, and don't really want to leave anybody out, but we'll figure it out.
But that's a roster that, when you're doing your rotations and you're having to leave somebody out for a match or whatnot, it's not you're not really gonna negatively impact the overall strength of the team, and it's a roster that gives you a lot of options as far as who can play what, depending upon who's actually in at any given moment. I mean, I think pretty much the only thing that you probably wouldn't do is put Dylan at medic because he's too fucking tall. Other than that, I think you can pretty much play most anybody anywhere.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
And actually, the way that the resupply spots are in Syracuse, you could play Dylan at medic in certain locations, and it would be fine because he could stand up in a lot of those areas and be just fine.
Half walls or whatever that you have to crouch.
I have to crouch a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. One have to worry about hitting your head.
If only playing yeah.
Yeah, not in that particular space.
No, there's quite a high ceiling, that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So everybody loved the video that you did for the last St. George event.
Yes.
That was super cool
So
to see.
cool.
So we wanted to give you a shout out for that while you're here in the flesh. And also ask, do you have any plans for shooting any footage in Syracuse or future media Laser Force projects?
Yeah. So thanks for doing a whole show on it. I was super honored. I didn't really think everyone would like it that much.
It's dope.
But I just kind of
we crave content.
Now y'all can do with it, and people were of course excited for it. I think. So yeah, I'm planning to bring the camera. I think I'd like to pass it on to more people this time, and I'm probably going to do most of the recording on the final 2 days. I'm not sure how much people. I don't know how safe it is when people are actually competing to have the camera in there.
It seemed like a really nice camera. I would hate for anything to happen to it. So, whatever precautions we need to take, let's make sure we do that.
There are a couple
I know.
Sorry, you go. No, you go.
I know that when you're reffing in Syracuse, you usually like sit on top of walls, so that might be a way people can record, and we just get one area per game or something. But we'll figure it out.
So, I was gonna suggest we obviously run our Laser Force live streams when we can, and I bought myself one of these Gorilla Grip tripods.
Three-sided dildo. No, wait, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's for the end of the
tournament. Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
So like, yeah, these come in quite handy for sitting atop of walls, or I don't recall any like cross beams at Syracuse, so that might be a little difficult, but they kind of perch and like grip onto whatever, and they're the kind of screw on part is really quite strong, so they're designed to take the weight of like a DSLR. So doing something like that might be a good way to get a top-down view or whatever. But yeah, I think during competitive play, having it down at suit level, you run the risk of somebody doing something silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was trying to find the
link for the video.
Yeah, I can't seem to find it. That's okay. We'll find it later. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's 100% worth watching. I was so astounded at the amount of light that came into the camera and the visibility that you get, because every other camera I've tried to use in an arena, unless the house lights are on, and even then, like it's so hard to get a good clean picture, and watching that footage, was so good. It's some of the, I think, best in-maze Laser Force footage that I've seen. It was so awesome to watch. So yeah,
to be fair, also the St. George Arena is extraordinarily well lit.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it definitely would not ever be considered a dim dark maze. Plus they had repainted recently, so you were definitely getting a lot of the reflection off of the paint as well. So it just lent itself to getting some good footage, and then obviously high quality camera that obviously helped. But yeah, no, that was definitely definitely a pretty fantastic video. And yeah, we quite enjoyed turning a 4.5-minute video into, I think, like a 90-minute podcast. That was pretty fucking fantastic.
Again, we're very open about how
much we steal content.
Yeah. It's great. Do you know if that video went onto your YouTube, or was it on like the
I'm popping it in the chat right now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's on my YouTube channel, Laser Mischief, one word.
Right on. Check it out. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like, etc.
Yeah, do it.
Do all the things so that
formulaic.
so the algorithm will smile upon Luke.
Right. So if I may, like, that video, when I'm telling people about laser tag now or Space Marines, I just stop talking and I show them a few seconds of that video, and it's so much more engaging for people. So I think my idea for this one, like, I do want to make it a trip highlight, but I actually am interested in getting some people just talking about the game on a very basic level, like, what is Space Marines 5? And they could be talking about that as the video goes on, maybe, and it could be more a video that you show people so that, like, they can get an idea for what we're doing, because it can be kind of complicated or sound not very
intuitive.
I don't know. Sure, yeah, when you just talk about it with people. But I mean, I won't hide that for media ideas, I really would love to see Laser Force expand in the future and like become somewhat of an esport. I know it's not a computer game, but people love that label, and I'm not afraid to use it. So the more content we get online that people can like watch, I've noticed that new players, especially like the middle school crowd, they eat that stuff up. They love they love to watch that advanced briefing I made, and they want more stuff like that.
Really good one.
So I want to make more stuff that's like content about the game, and I'd love to see more players out there doing that as well.
So on that, because I've been thinking about this over the last couple of weeks. It's funny you should bring it up. Now, as some of you know, courtesy of our man on the ground, Stallion, who plays sort of out of Wellington. Ish. He did come up this week actually, and we got to play. It was freaking awesome to see him and awesome to play. Bro, we're doing a podcast, Windows. Go away.
You're gonna get Than killed.
Yeah,
Stop.
Damn, like, you just wait. Watch the stream crash. Stupid Windows notification. What was I saying? Okay. So
Stallion came to play.
The work that Stallion has done with the Resupply Twitter account, because none of us use Twitter and a little bit useless when it comes to that sort of thing. So he's kind of expanding our reach there, and as a result, has made contact with some of the Czech Republic scene, which like had no idea existed as a
Yeah, me neither.
yeah. And
We do now.
they don't play Space Marines 5. They play mostly competitive individual games. But I was thinking that the footage and the content that you get that really push Space Marines is such a great way to bring in people who understand how laser tag works, and they can transfer those skills across to a Space Marines format of the game. And yeah, videos like the montage and like, you know, interviews and getting people talking about the game hopefully will make it easier to bring our communities all together, and truly make it a global site. Because at the moment, Australasia and North America are the two kind of major Space 5 regions. Germany obviously play Space 5 in their own way, and the UK have their scene as well. But reaching out to other European locations, you know, and I think there's a Russian contingent.
Yeah, they streamed some kind of competition they did a couple of years back.
So
yeah, I'm not sure how active the Russian base still is anymore.
So, you know,
I just remember how long their word for zap was, and I was like, what the hell?
You're doing it right. But videos like this help us grow our scene, I suppose. Because really we play by a particular rule set that really the rest of the world generally don't. Which is fine, but you know, hopefully we can convert a bunch of you know, Laser Force people who already play the system, familiar with the games, start playing by our rule set, and that will help, you know, grow the tournament scene.
Because it's something that grew specifically out of a competitive SM5 frame, if you're not approaching the game from a competitive SM5 frame, of course the rules don't make sense outside of that context.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that it's like, this is kind of a chicken and egg situation. It's like if they're not playing a lot of Space 5, the rules may not have the same kind of application, and they may not evolve in the same way if they're trying to organically develop a rule set, because they did arise in a very particular time and place, and they've had application over time, but that in some ways is kind of like a historical accident.
Hoodie says he's keen for vodka with the Russians. Ooh.
But the prospect
alcohol poisoning coming up for Hoodie.
What's kind of cool is that like not a whole lot of good has come out of COVID. But one positive thing is it seemingly somehow connected these sites more than ever before. And I like to think that we have a little bit of a little bit to do with that. Not everything, obviously, but I mean, I'm good at making everything about me, so I'll take all the credit.
It's true. We're trying to do our small part.
A very small part.
Piquito.
Yeah, but like, but the more media there is, like you said, the more of a valued esport it kind of becomes, right? Like people take it seriously, and yeah. So, yeah.
I can throw this in. I think the only way we're ever going to get there is if we can find a way to show a game online, just like you would a football game or some other sport. And I want to take this opportunity to just put this idea out so everybody watching sees it. I have to give credit to the Fear Turkey for this, but we've been thinking about if we can just get GoPros on the players and or the refs who are like standing there almost like moving cameras. If we could somehow stream that, that's up to like 24 different cameras going at once. That could be like between, you know, I feel like that's the only way we could feasibly show a game in such tight quarters, you know.
So we're actually in preparation for Auckland Nats. Our site, we have security cameras in the maze that stream back to the lobby. At the moment, I think it's an 8-channel system that only has 4 cameras attached, but the owners have said, hey, look, for nationals, you can move those into positions that you need to, and we'll look at putting additional cameras in the maze for you. So when you get into that kind of territory, you start needing like a production team to kind of to work through the switching of the cameras.
That's
and then,
the missing ingredient.
Yeah. So
right.
that the production team, which includes a commentary team, because if you can have people speaking about what's happening in a game, like if you have two cameras pointed at an entry point or whatever, for each resupply kind of main area, that at least will give you some good views of people running in and trying to break a resupply or holding a resupply or whatever. But it is something that we are pretty excited about down here. But you're 100% right. Like, that's the way to bring in a outside viewership, is making the game spectator friendly. Because watching a scoreboard for us is fine because we understand the game, we understand what's happening. But for everyone else, it's just like, well, I don't know what's happening.
Yes, so as my partner calls it, watching the Matrix.
Yeah.
It's just like you see it,
Yeah.
blonde, brunette, redhead, just scrolling down.
Well, and the Perth sites for the Australian titles, which is another kind of fragmented portion of the Laser Force scene at this point, because it's all converted zone. Like the last thing that they did before the world ended, they did have a pretty decent amount of cameras inside the arena that were kind of giving you a if not a perfect frame of reference, they were giving you a decent frame of reference. And so that that definitely wasn't bad. It was a little infuriating kind of watching them play Laser Force with zone snapshots, but that was a me problem as opposed to an everything else problem. But yeah, you need
and not running away when they got tagged in Space Marines.
One of my guys I might have an emergency. Give me 1 second.
Sure, man. Sure.
Oh, yep, go for it. And I mean, I was gonna say, and we'll let Luke get back to it, but I feel like from his idea that there are a couple of spots, a few of like those ref perches and those kinds of areas in the Syracuse maze where we could potentially, like, if we had cameras that could sort of swivel or pan around a little bit to get not necessarily just like the entrance to where a resupply area is, but like seeing the attack being set up from a couple of sides. If you had like a wide enough angle, you could capture it. I'd be really interested to see something like that. And I'm as interested in this kind of prospect as you are, Luke. I just don't have the technical know-how the way that you do and some other people do to try to like look for ways to improve this. But if you want to chat about the ideas, I'd certainly like to do that kind of thing.
I will say this, like, if I'd love to go out to play and pay full money for that, but if I had some extra incentive, I'd be willing to like just come out to a tournament just to be the stream guy. If I could find any like GoPros or cameras that have that capability to like connect to a computer while they're recording, I don't feel like it would be that complicated.
There's some of the newer ones. I believe GoPro, for some reason, have been very slow to implement any kind of proper streaming back to like a central computer. So being able to I think some of the new stuff can do that, but yeah, it's difficult. Did you see the 360 cam footage that came out of Brisbane? I can't remember if it was this year or last year.
No.
It's been 2 years ago at this point. It's hard to remember.
yeah. No, they were kind of roll into each other. But somebody they had a specific suit that had a bolt sticking out of one of the shoulder mounts.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, I say bolt, it would have been like that big or whatever. But anyway, it was a camera mount, so they attached a 360 cam to the shoulder, and they were editing footage. I'll try and find a link and post that in the Discord later. but they those games gave a awesome third person or first whatever. It gave a good personal perspective of what was happening in the game. I don't know if you can stream that footage or how it kind of works, but yeah, there's challenges with sending the signal back to the computer, because usually these places are quite large. There's all sorts of like IR signals getting bounced around in the maze, concrete walls, like all sorts of struggles that happen. So first person would be amazing. I think we're a little way off at that yet with the camera tech, but
yeah, here I'll pop one of those videos into chat. Obviously,
Sweet.
you can it's on the Laser Force Nats page, which is the one I think that Scorpion started a few years back. So that's at least one sample of the vids that's out there, and you can find the others that are on there. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that and
Cheers.
Luke's video and everything tonight. I need some laser tag content in my life.
Heck yeah.
That's what we're here for. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's right. We're a laser tag show. What am I saying?
We are? What?
Sometimes.
No.
We try to be.
Sometimes.
We try to be.
For about 60% of the time.
It works every time.
But yeah, that whole multimedia, and we've talked at length about on many past podcasts, but all of that stuff that's come, and the history of that stuff is a pretty interesting and it's sometimes humorous one. So I can't remember what podcast we talked about that on, but it was probably a good one.
I mean, we've had, this is episode 110. At some point, yes, we've talked about
probably
it. Probably
broach the topic.
What? Yeah, I'm sure probably actually on multiple episodes.
I think we
we've
did
probably
one
discussed it.
that was specifically the history of media. Well, media for us anyway. DK, did you have any other questions on your list?
Well, Luke is such an excellent guest that he very nicely anticipated some of my questions about media and Laser Force. So I will just pivot over to a question I've liked to ask all of our interview guests. What is your favorite non-Space Marines 5 game?
Do you guys know AVP?
No. As an
Alien versus Predators?
Yeah.
Oh, Phantom. Thank you very much for the follow. That puts us at $2.99.
Ooh.
Oh, but you guys don't have that game?
AVP? It could be called
Yeah.
something else here, but what's the premise?
Huh. Well, I guess we must have invented it at our site a long time ago, but we've always had it. Basically, you have a lot of weak aliens, a squad of middle-range Space Marines, and like a few really strong Predators, and it's the hardest game in the world to balance teams properly. But
it's a modified Gladiator, if I remember correctly.
I think we did have it in the software, I feel like, but we didn't really mess around with it.
It was something, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm old, so I might not be. I'm pretty sure it was something that the Peterborough site created and put on their website. But it's a Gladiator base, and kind of a similar idea to Evolution, which uses D&D as its base. But it's essentially three different levels are the three positions, and they've each got differing amounts of hit points. And
We'll let Luke explain it.
I was gonna...
every game.
Doing a great job.
Yeah, but he's every week. We have to listen to him like fucking all the time. Talk about Diablo and shit.
It's one of my favorites to run when I was like working at Loveland Laser Tag in high school. You usually put some really good members as the Predators, and you got like that group of teenage guys who want to stay together. You make them the Space Marines, and then all like the cannon fodder regulars. I would like pull them in a group and be like, okay, here's a secret. If you walk up to them and surround them, you don't have to walk away. They have to leave.
And then just like follow them the whole time.
Like you can't follow them, but you can walk up to them and just like not go away. They might never figure it out.
So you need like a decent number of people to play there, right?
Yeah, it's like a 35-person game.
Right.
That's how you should play it.
Right.
Wow.
You know, classic members nights numbers.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You guys get that every week, right?
Every single week. We're quite blessed. I didn't even think we had that many suits. Surely we had that many suits. Maybe.
I think
Aliens
you guys have
having
like
rapid
24
fire.
suits.
No, it
Steve-O.
might be more than that. It might be like 30, but still.
You guys might have added suits. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, with the upgrade.
So Tucker's saying
okay.
the aliens have rapid fire and predators have SM5 heavy shot speed. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Predators get everything except for rapid fire. In terms of like levels 1 through 6, I think the
Makes
Space Marines do get nukes and missiles and rapid fire, but that's it.
That's so dope.
And an alien shoots them down in 3 hits. Predators get shot down in 6 hits from an alien. Aliens get 1 hit point and rapid fire after tagging down 1 person, and that's all they really get.
Yeah.
They also come up in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, quick respawn.
Do the predators get stealth?
No.
Damn.
No stealth.
That would have been kind of cool.
Because it's not in the modified game set that
Shit.
it's being used.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. If there were a game creator that would just let you like pick and choose abilities and stuff, that would be cool, but that's not historically how
Scorpion.
not historically how the game editors work. The game editor
Give us a
always
drag and drop game editor now, you heretic.
If I could describe Scorpion, it would be that he definitely has blinds over his back ends to keep you out from toying around in there. You know, that's how I would describe it.
I mean, probably a good idea, all things considered.
Stay the fuck out of the code.
You stay out of the
Oops, I deleted the database again. Sorry.
That sounds like a dope dame though. Dope game. There we go. Words.
Yeah, dope game. Yeah.
Yeah.
A dope dame?
A dope dame.
That's your wife, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She's a dope dame.
Ta-da.
Yeah. I wouldn't call her a dame though. I might get punched in the face.
I would pay to see that.
Interesting. Channel point redemption.
Find some other old-fashioned lady terms to use.
See, Dizzy Dame. Dizzy Dame Dan.
What's around how I talk, see?
You got you got anything else, DK?
Any other thoughts that you'd like to share with us, Luke?
Well, I did have a question or two for you guys.
Yeah, bro.
Shoot.
So, literally forgot it. Oh, I straight up want your projections for fake nats. Let's get some spice up in here.
That's a DK. That's a DK question.
Bring in the spice. I mean, it's hard. If Syracuse has like an actual A team, obviously they should be considered the favorites because it's their home field. And
that's not a thing.
At that point, it's like, all right, well, who's going to be in the running for finals? After that, at least both on paper and the fact that they practice more than anybody else, I would have to say would probably then be St. George. Just because that is a really good team. They play on a regular basis. And here's where we'll start getting to the shots fired. St. George also has like a weird history of like kind of underperforming at tournaments relative to expectations, because I feel like that happened at the West Coast that was in San Marcos. Like it seemed like they had a super stacked team, and then it kind of fell apart on like day 2 or 3. And then in the 2019 Nats, like we beat them in the finals. We weren't that good, so.
It's true. You guys were fucking terrible.
But on paper, I certainly can't count them out. And again, it's not to say that it's like, oh yeah, they're not good outside of their home field, because they've also had success outside their own field as well. But I don't know, that's hard.
I think Caleb's going to fix a lot of their issues.
Maybe. I mean, they got Thunder. I think of him as the issue fixer. Caleb's a very good player, but if somebody's going to fix any St. George issues, I would start with Thunder and then work from there.
It's like giving Thunder a giant gun, or a rocket
He has
launcher.
a few of those, I've heard.
That's what Caleb is, just raw power.
Yeah.
So I don't know. me, because I really enjoy chaos and I really enjoy seeing people fail, I would love it if Syracuse didn't make the final, because I love shit like that happening. It's always like the absolute best at a tournament when a home site does not make the final. It
Makes it
happens.
interesting too, because then it's like you have two teams that are competing on neutral ground.
Yeah. So, I mean, you now again, it doesn't happen very often. Um, but when it does happen, it's fucking fantastic. And yes, Al, I do enjoy seeing people fail. And yes, I did not cry when my hardcore tune died. I was just very angry at myself. But I'm laughing about it now. So in hindsight, it's pretty goddamn funny. So
Yeah. So if we're going to consider that Syracuse will have two teams, and then St. George, California, Loveland, and Detroit, that middle of the pack is so difficult for me to think of. I would say, based on who I've heard is coming so far, like Detroit probably seems the weakest on paper. Shots fired again. But that could change if rumors of like Terrell and Micro come, that automatically makes their team way better.
Are they coming?
I thought I saw Terrell was coming.
I had seen mixed reports about that. I think Wolfman did say he was coming, and we've been trying to peer pressure Micro into coming. I think it would be good if they had a strong team, because if he also comes, then that puts their team right in the running with everybody else. So, I mean, really, after a true Syracuse A team, I think it's kind of up for grabs after that. Like, I have high hopes for Team California, but I'm not going to come out here and say like, oh yeah, we're 100% definitely making finals, because I don't know. We might be terrible after COVID. Who knows?
I mean,
Well,
you were terrible
Syracuse-
before COVID, so
Fair.
Syracuse split into two teams, right? Like trying to be more even.
That was
Eh.
at least one prospect that was out there. I'm not sure if that's still the thinking now. I think that was definitely the thinking at one point, but again, as you get closer to the tournament, it's like, yeah, maybe we want to actually have an A team. But yeah, if they split into two more even strength teams, I can see that going a couple of ways. It could just break into, yeah, Syracuse ended up getting first and second because it's their field. They know what they're doing and they're going to smash the rest of us. But it could turn into a situation like Fan said, where it's like, yeah, if they don't have something that is a true like super A caliber team in comparison with some of the visiting teams like your team or St. George or California or something like that, it could end up being an interesting situation. But to me, the more even the teams are, the more interesting it makes the tournament. Even in a situation where it's like you have maybe like the top teams are in the running, and you know who they're going to be, but it's like the games in that next pack down, those are always the most interesting, because I feel like that's how it was in 2019 in Detroit. That's how it was like in 2017 in SAC. There was like those sort of like third through sixth place teams figuring out exactly where they're going to shake out is the really interesting part of a tournament sometimes.
well, and the reality is, I mean, as much as I, enjoy chaos and would be, just amused if no Syracuse team made him the final because I'm an asshole. I think the reality right now of this tournament, looking, kind of looking at who's going, looking at things on paper, there's nothing that you're really seeing on paper where you're able to do that finger point and go, they fucked. This team completely fucked. This team may pick up a game or two because somebody makes a mistake, but this team getting shit on like the whole week.
That team is not in this tournament.
Yeah,
from what I've seen,
that is, yeah, on paper, that doesn't seem to be a thing. I think what you're going to have as a very, actual serious statement to this, I think you will see the Syracuse A team, which Beans has just put into chat. It's him,
Beans,
Fox,
Evil, Lenny,
Do not.
Cody, and Jackal. That's a pretty fucking good
That's a
team.
great
Yeah,
team.
that's so. Yeah, so
We're,
so I think.
we're all fucked. That's you can point at 5 other teams and say that.
Yeah, so you look at you look at that roster for Syracuse, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you look at that and go, oh, that's a weak team, you're a fucking idiot. But even looking at that team, like there is some potential there for things to not go right. Like
Yeah, if I trip and fall accidentally into Beans' ankle, for instance.
for instance, but I mean, there's some, as with every team, there's always those potentials for meltdowns. And and that team is no different. It could happen. Is it likely to happen? Probably not. Do I actually think that they're probably going to be in the finals? Yes. But I would just be very amused if they weren't. But I do think that I don't think they're going to walk into the finals.
It'd be more interesting if they didn't.
Yeah, I think that they are going to have to, actually play, as opposed to what you see sometimes with top teams, where they kind of sleepwalk through rounds. They never kind of get out of third gear, but they're still doing exactly what they need to put themselves into position for finals, and then finals hit, and all of a sudden they're in high gear and everybody's fucked. I think they're going to need to be in that higher gear to start with, because given the quality of the other teams on paper, yeah, I think if any team thinks that they're better than they are, they're going to be.
It could be bad. It could be
they're
bad.
Going to get I think they're going to get disabused of that notion very quickly, given what the rosters look like. That's my 2 cents.
There. So yeah, I don't know if I gave a concrete prediction there, but like
You did not.
That's great.
I would, yeah, but again, I would say like 1 Syracuse A, 2 St. George. Like on paper, I would say again, Detroit, from what I've seen of the rosters, is the quote unquote weakest of the rosters, but it ain't that weak. It's pretty good. So that it's that 4, 5, 6 range that I'm not sure on at all, or I guess 3, 4, 5 range that I'm really not sure of at all.
Yeah.
Laser Force is the winner on the day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would love to knock off one of those teams and make it to finals as well. So California versus Loveland finals. We're on the podcast. Nobody else is. So there, you heard it first. It's going to be our two teams in the finals. We'll see you there, Luke.
Yeah, dude. I have no idea out of our 2 teams if there's any advantage or disadvantage at all. Like, I just look forward to playing you. It's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
I have one more if you guys have time.
Yeah, bro.
Do it.
Okay.
Dude,
I really
we're good.
Cool. My favorite episodes that you guys have put out, speaking of like this, we were talking about my stuff earlier, when you guys brought on different players to interview them about how they play different roles. Like, I think you got Baden on for Heavy and Rusty for Commander and a few others. You went through all of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any plans to do any more of the content base, like about the game, topics like that in your future podcasts?
I mean,
we
the short answer is
should.
yes.
We
The short answer
should.
is yes.
So
We've said before that maybe we need to actually be doing more Laser Force content.
wait, so in the past,
Enjoyable, just
yeah. In the past, we had just the audio version of the show, and it meant that we didn't put any we didn't have any pressure to do like a weekly show, whereas when we decided to come to a Twitch format.
Correction, when Steve decided he should come to Twitch.
When I was like,
who's we, mammal?
I was like, the people need to see this. No, we when we made the switch, we kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
I have no idea where the fuck you going, bro.
When you say that you're gonna do a thing all the time, what's that word?
Obligation.
Something like that. We basically we said, okay, we're gonna do it every week.
When you commit.
Commit. That's the word. Yeah. We could.
I know it's a scary
Yeah,
word.
so we definitely should have Steve committed. I agree.
I'm afraid of commitment. Amateurs. So yeah, when we committed to doing it as a weekly show, obviously there's only so much stuff you can talk about, but doing some of those pods, I think, will be quite good when there's no like upcoming tournaments or events or whatever. Although to be fair, that's been our life for the last year and a half.
Or alternatively, if we had some footage that we could dissect, like we did for one episode,
Yeah.
maybe then we could have more of that content.
So we hey Inksy. we did one of those, I think, or we were talking about doing some breakdowns of some of our like Auckland first person games that got put up. I think they're going back to like 2018 now. So
yeah, they're old.
They are old, and so if we can get some new ones shot, and if I had thought about it, I should have done it this week when Stallion was up, but never mind. Then we can maybe go through and break down some of those from a positional standpoint and get, all right, let's watch so and so play an ammo game and break their game down in a more sort of micro way. But yeah, I'd like to do some more of those because much like many of the people in our community, like we can talk about this game non-stop and just the intricacies of positions
and have
yeah, but it's the same conversations that we had or have after a members night. We finish up a members night and then a group of people will congregate outside and talk for another half an hour to an hour about how the night went, or past Nats memories, or like different things that happened during a game, or like how they think they can improve, or whatever it is. And that's actually kind of how like the birthplace of this podcast came out of that. It was like, well, we do it at Lasers anyway. How about we take that format and I talk to Than and then talk to DK and then talk to Than and DK. So yeah. Short answer is yeah, we'll do some of those. I don't know when. It'll be soon. But if there are things that people would like us to talk about at length, we have the Discord. If anyone's not part of the Discord, !Discord in chat, come join the Discord. We're trying to build the Resupply community over there as another place that Laser Force fanatics can kind of gather and stuff. But we have a section that people can put in topics to discuss for us, because again we hate doing work here. It sucks.
Yep. And as a reminder to the world, we are now basically just about a month out from Fake Nats 2.0, which will be July 26th through 30th in Syracuse, New York. If you are a player planning to go to that tournament and you haven't bought your plane tickets or booked your accommodation yet, get on that shit.
Didn't you guys have like the Loveland Laser Tag YouTube channel, right? And there's a bunch of videos up on there.
Yeah, we haven't uploaded to that probably 3-4 years.
Right.
Maybe 3. But yeah, we were trying to get like a bunch of little stuff up there. We even tried to mimic your podcast at one point. It was just us in a car talking about like
I remember that. I remember hearing that because I know Tucker and it might have been Goldfish also were doing a pod, or at least recorded an episode or two. But yeah, like the more that kind of content that comes out, and again it comes back to the stuff that you've been making, the better, I think. Loveland Laser Tag YouTube page, there's a bunch of really cool videos up on there, and really good. I think they did like a position breakdown video, or a how to play Space Marine series or something, which is really cool. Yeah, so if people haven't seen that, check it out.
My favorite thing we did on that channel, which I've always wanted to recreate, is we recorded a few games with maybe like 4 cameras. Half of them were like phones, so they were super grainy. But we did like I went in and I cut it all together like a live action game that you
Yeah.
could watch later on. And we've gone back to that a number of times. So if I could get like, man, it's something we could possibly do just like 1 or 2 games in Syracuse. If people just can get out their phones and we can have a few cameras, I could cut something like that later. That's something that people love to watch.
Oh yeah, it takes so long, right, to like edit a video like that, but it's
Yeah. That's why I'm only doing projects like I actually really want to make now. I don't think I'll do any more like big interview videos. Those aren't super fun for me. Like just a person talking. I want to see people shooting each other.
Yeah.
in a
That's
fun,
why all
safe
my videos I
environment.
make for class, one take. Fuck editing. If I stumble on it, they can live with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, that's got me. It's got me wanting to make some more first person. I'm kind of kicking myself. I didn't even think to do that this week, but
Well,
You were in the moment.
Maybe
It's fine.
for Laser Force Live next week, you can think about that.
if we get the numbers, I mean, we had 13 people show up, so
Come on, get your
one
shit
of-
together, Auckland.
I know, right? Come every week, people. Come every week. Although there was
Some of us, 3 people in these boxes, don't have Laser Force. It's available just there on a weekly basis. So come on.
there is rumors of somebody coming to visit us next week, but I won't say much more about that until that gets confirmed. But if he's listening, let me know. Let me know how your flights are looking.
And Thunder and chat goes, and some of us play 2 and 3 days a week.
What an
Fuck
asshole.
you.
That's why I love that man.
So funny thing about that, I had a Facebook memory pop up a couple of weeks ago about something. I think it was about a West Coast, and Brandon had posted on that. Thunder had posted on in that thread on my memories, basically complaining about them never getting to play. This was like 9 or 10 years ago. And it's like, oh, how the tables have turned.
Indeed.
Assholes.
Luke, did you have any other questions for us?
He's flipped the script.
I have a few, but like only if you want them.
Bro, we got time. But we're here. We're here to chill.
I think I got one more big philosophical one then.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the direction the whole tournament scene's going, as opposed to where it like started? I only jumped in like 5 years ago, but you guys have been around through a lot more.
Which is just a polite way of saying we're all fucking old. Okay.
Someone was gonna mention it. I was trying to avoid those words, man.
That's fine.
But we're getting a lot of new players,
Yeah.
People that like I think a lot of players are cycling out, not playing anymore, and a lot of new ones are coming in. So, how do you guys feel about the future?
So, as with everything, everything ebbs and flows. Everything goes in cycles, and oh, fuck off. And every time that I think that the tournament scene is at a point where it's dead, it's buried, it's never coming back. And by tournament, I'm very specifically talking about the Space Marines 5 tournament scene, because there's some secondary kind of things off of that I'll hit probably later in this rant. Every time I think we're at a point where it's like, okay, well, Space 5 is done. Like there's not enough interest from various sites anymore. The anchor sites have all lost their player base. Nobody's really interested in traveling. People are, the rules are being argued over, and da 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 da. Like every time we kind of hit one of these thresholds, it bounces back and surprises the fuck out of me. Like I have wrongly said that the Space 5 tournament scene was dead after 04. I said
in the U.S. it was for a little bit.
For a bit. I said it was basically fucked after 09 with the first U.S. tournament back because of the bullshit rules. 09, 10 in that range.
We'll call you half right on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then, obviously, US wised up and picked the correct rule set to go forward with. And now we're kind of at another one of those points. I mean, it's obviously COVID influenced. I mean, for sure. I mean, COVID came at a really bad time for a lot of reasons, and obviously this is the first world problem. One of them, like, this is a total first world problem, in that we were kind of ramping in a really positive way with the SM5 tournament scene. Like, 19 was pretty successful.
Pretty
cool. Let's call it for what it was.
It was big.
And 20 was going to be just, fucking massive. Like, it actually looked like we were going to have, 2 to 3 full teams worth of US people making the trip to New Zealand, and having, 4 to 5 Australian teams come over. It looked like it was going to be fucking massive. And then we ran straight into a fucking brick wall. And so now you've got kind of this rebuilding scenario again, where it doesn't necessarily look great in the immediate. You do have a lot of older players cycling out, and not necessarily a ton of newer players cycling in, and there are reasons around that. I mean, you've got a lot more competition for people's entertainment time. You go back into the late 90s or early 2000s, there wasn't nearly the level of competition for people's time, energy, and attention. Fast forward to now,
it's either laser tag or that stick on a hoop game. That was all we had.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love ball cup.
Yeah.
Or cup ball.
It's got a ball and it's got a cup. What else do you need?
What else you need?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're fighting against that as well, and then because we kind of hit this brick wall, and you've had some player fall off without the recruiting of new players, you start getting into more of the philosophical argument about, well, does the tournament scene then become more like what it is in Europe, where they don't do Space Marines 5 for the most part. They do other things, and they do other things with a vastly more generic rule set, combined with the amount of zone sites that Laser Force has taken over equipment-wise in the last 3 to 4 years. Well, now you've got all these zone players as well that are indoctrinated into the zone rules, and so now you also have this kind of secondary, okay, so there's essentially a zone scene inside of Laser Force equipment playing with zone rules. And how does that evolve, and does that stay as a separate entity to the original Space Marines 5 tournament scene, in quotes, or does it somehow mesh? So you've got all kind of these kind of conflating things happening, and I don't know if that actually answered your question, or if I just waffled on literally for like five minutes, because I'm good like that.
Like, I'll step onto that a little bit. I mean, if we're talking about specifically preserving the tournament scene as we understand it, where it is SM5 based around this particular rule set, thing that we've been building for a long time, I would say I'm generally optimistic, But what we do need is to have sort of the interest and engagement, sort of the new generation of people, kind of like you, Luke, who are probably in their late teens, early to mid 20s, who are really into this, who have an interest in the game, who want to travel to these tournaments, to consistently go to the tournaments, and also people who are wanting to sort of get involved on the organizational side as well. Because we had that a little bit, obviously, with Taipan and Glader in 2018 in Brisbane, and the last ECT with, sorry, I don't know why their names are escaping me at the moment. A couple of the other Syracuse players who helped organize it. So we do have some people who are getting a little bit more interested in like the organizational side, but that I think is what we're going to need to carry over, is to have enough people in sort of that late teens, early 20s mix who are able to, Hammer and Britain. Thank you, Beans. I don't know why my brain completely shorted out on me.
There, so it's fine.
I also wasn't there, so
I gotta remember the word committed, so you're fine.
No, I had the more negative connotation of obligation. That's where my mind goes, apparently. Always the pessimist. And I think some sites kind of have that, but at other sites where it seems like the player base is mostly older people who've been doing it for a long time, that's where you start to get the worry of, is it getting stale?
Yeah.
Is this thing kind of going to collapse later down the line? So I think as long as we keep having that injection of new blood and people who are committed enough to it, that it can roll on. But another part of me says that, if this is something just that people who have been in the scene since like 2014, this is just what we do, and we meet every year for just a week or two of, we play this one very specific game, and maybe it doesn't get any bigger than it is now, but there are plenty of us willing to do it into our 30s and 40s. That's also not the end of the world.
I'm not sure what those links are. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So and for me, like, I think I'm hopeful, and my kind of thought process for the next part of how the Space Marines tournament looks is bringing in new regions. And so that's including, the UK, and we have through the podcast, obviously, been connected with some of the UK scene, and they've Smalley and Poison Ivy came to ECT. Yeah. Morrigan's in the scene, and then obviously the German side, who send a team out to ECT as well, and those things. ECT. Was it?
It was St. George, and because they scored an amazing round trip ticket to Vegas.
And so though, the injection, and this is kind of, where COVID kind of was a bit of a hiccup in that kind of sense, was building to bring in the Germans as a scene, which helps increase the amount of sites. So the more sites you have, the more likely it is you have 8 to 12 competitive teams show up for a tournament, Nice. So for me, that's where I think the next step is, having, because that means that if you do have older legacy sites drop off, hopefully those other places will pick up the slack, or you're less likely to lose the interest of the older sites because they're like, hey, here's a full, 2 or 3 other sites of players that I've never heard of, that all know how to play the game, that I can test myself against. And that's what's exciting about like the Czech Republic, because they have like 7 competitive sites there who play competitive laser tag, which we had no idea existed, and they've got
they have more than Arizona.
Yeah. Gosh.
There's a long history there that I would love to like integrate the scenes together, and truly turn it into a global thing. So I think that's where it's going, and you'll lose some people along the way through either they're well, I think
just change. People don't like change sometimes.
possible car accident outside. It happens all the time. But yeah, like some people don't like the change, and we've seen that before. People drop out of. I mean, Than was a major reason why Auckland had 40% of its member base drop off because they didn't want to change to the way. I mean, honestly, it was the best thing that happened to us as a site because they were great players, but they didn't want to play competitive space fire how it's supposed to be played, and the majority of us stayed on, and our site was it was better, I think, because of it, but who knows.
I've always said Than's like a forest fire. He causes mass destruction, but there is a rebirth that follows it.
Yes. I can roll with that. Yeah, that's fine.
So I think that's a positive place. I think from where we've come from as well, like there's definitely different time periods that are associated. You can kind of break it down into like the age of the dinosaurs, that kind of like those kind of periods throughout time. So it's a pretty interesting where we've come from, but I'm very excited about where we're going to, or what we could potentially go to, depending on if COVID lets us. So we'll see.
No, I think those were all insanely good answers. Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for adding some questions of your own.
We appreciate.
Shockingly, all three of us are really smart. Shockingly.
Yeah,
we appreciate you
and modest.
Bringing us can talk.
Bringing us onto your podcast. It's very nice of you.
Yes, this has been the Resupply podcast, everyone. Thank our guests.
Did you have any more? Did you have any more questions you wanted to ask us?
No, I just wanted to comment on top of all that. Like, it's really difficult as well as we're growing. About like 80-90% of people that come try Space Marines leave, even ones that come in for a while, because it's you all know it's just very hard to be at that bottom of the totem pole for any period of time. And not only do
we don't use those words on the spot.
Oh right, sorry. I had PTSD.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. You're at the bottom, and not only is it hard, like you have to want to be there, and you have to like the game enough to go through that. You also need the help. Like we didn't we needed a lot of instruction from people like you guys who were already at a much higher level to get anywhere in tournaments. And even just like our own players, we haven't always done a great job of instructing them and being maybe kind to them, because if you get a bad player on your team, I just used a bad word right there, like it should be a new player, right? Yeah. Suddenly I'm like, oh great, now we're gonna lose, because he probably will. That's just an attitude I think that we need to change as like in our culture as a scene. We need better ways to keep our new players around, because a lot of times it can be incredibly discouraging to be at the bottom and to stay there. I don't know. I've been thinking about ways to do that. I think it really just comes with attitude as a main thing.
Yeah, that's definitely a topic we spent an entire pod on relatively recently.
Well,
and we may not have had 100% answers, but we definitely at least came up with a winning formula. Don't be a dick.
It's interesting though. So like Dan made a point before that back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I wouldn't say people were starved for entertainment, but there certainly wasn't a glut of things that you had the option to do, to spend your time doing, because online gaming wasn't really a thing back then. And so we had the luxury of being able to weed through weaker players who weaker is definitely not the right word, because it's basically players that weren't really willing to take the abuse that got hurled around sort of in those early days. And it's funny because there is a difference between playing for fun and playing to be the best at something, because with that high level of competition comes ego and anger and all that stuff that for the most part normal people are like, why would I be here, this is terrible.
This is dumb.
Yeah, yeah. But like,
This is super dumb.
so now we compete, for the attention span of people who could just stay home and get abused online, but they don't have to leave the couch.
Right.
So there has to be a more respectful way that people kind of interact with each other. And I think I don't know, you get this discussion with any high level competitive anything. There is that thing really necessary? I am of the opinion that it kind of is, but shouldn't be.
To some degree.
Yeah.
To some degree, I think at least some level of intensity is required. But yeah, there are ways to not be a dick about it. And you have to have, I think we talked about this on a previous podcast, you need to have both sides of it. You need to have the drill instructor who's, barking orders at you, but you also need the person who's kind of building you up and instilling you with some confidence.
Yeah. So
you gotta have your Michael Jordans and your Scottie Pippens.
Yeah. Exactly right.
Like it.
But yeah, so there is that, and most people will probably drop out. Most normal people will be like, this ain't for me. So as a one thing that sites can do, oh my goodness, what is happening? Oh, fucking
Flash of inspiration
again.
They're killing you
every time. One thing that for me that we found is something that if you've got the luxury to do it, you have a Space Marines competitive night and you have a members night. And hopefully you get turned out for both, but you go to the
Joe,
members,
write that down.
Yeah, well, you go to the members night with the understanding of, we're here to play for fun on this night. I mean, playing competitive is good, but not at the expense of having fun on this night. This night here is for honing your craft, and I think we trialed that a little bit, and we found that it actually made a difference between the mood levels at both. Because if you're only playing once a week, you want to try and milk the most out of it as you can. So if you've got a couple of nights that you can put all your aggression into this one night, then it helps take it out of the others, which is kind of good. But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's what I reckon.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
it's been a great combo.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. If you guys want me on again, just let me know. That was a lot of fun.
I mean,
will do.
Welcome to the new host of the Resupply podcast.
Someone who actually does some prep before the show.
Again, you let me know.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. We've been gone a couple hours, which really for us didn't seem like it because it's easy to just
except I have to pee hella bad now.
Just you want your piss bottle, mate, under the table. But have fun, Luke. Have fun at Fake Nats. I'm sure it's gonna be nice to be able to run around and play some tag again.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Coming up this week, kids, we got a few shows. We'll be back on Tuesday, hopefully with some Laser Force Live, possibly with a special guest. We'll see. Wednesday, back with some more Lego streams. We're gonna build BB-8. Hopefully, if I can scrounge one from Greg, we'll see. Thursday, back with Thunderdome Thursdays. And then we'll be back again next week with the Resupply podcast. But check out some of our past episodes on Spotify and YouTube. I'm going to endeavor to put the last month's worth of podcasts up so people can, catch up. But for this week, I've been Guy Next Door.
I've been DK, and I have to pee.
And I've been Van.
And I've been Mischief.
Yes. Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you next week. Peace out.
Later.
I've lost the button again. There we go. Goodbye.
See ya.